welcome to today's Yin Yoga class. I hope that you're feeling ready to go deep because today we're going to work on a sequence that is excellent for digging into our hip flexors. This is really great if you're a runner or a cyclist, or if you're the kind of person who stores a lot of emotions in your hips, and that's most of us. So in the words of one of my teachers, if you've never laughed, cried, screamed, or cursed in yoga, today is the day. We're going to go nice and deep, and I think you'd like to bring along a lot of props for this one. So grab as many little pillows and cushions. A blanket would be really helpful today, and anything else that can help support your knees particularly. We're going to get right into it today. So go ahead and find your way down onto your mat in child's pose. And to come into child's pose, we'll take our knees mat distance apart, bring our big toes to touch, and draw our chest down into the floor. Your arms can be outstretched overhead, or you could bend your arms and rest them on your shoulders. Maybe even give yourself a little massage here. And just begin to come into your breath. Go ahead and take a deep breath in through your nose. And exhale out through your mouth. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, let it go. One more deep breath in. Exhale, let it go. Keep your arms outstretched overhead or bend and begin to sink in. And slowly begin to push your body away from the floor, lifting yourself up in space. Good. Draw your knees together, just sitting back on your heels here for a moment while I show you some props we can use to come into frog pose. So in frog pose, there's going to be a lot of pressure on our knees and on our ankles, so I'm going to take my two mini bolster couch cushions and place them alongside my mat. And because this can be quite an intense pose, it might be useful to grab another cushion, or two even, so use as much support as you need to in this one, stacking them out in front of you. So similar to child's pose, except this time we're going to set the medial line of our feet down onto the floor or onto our props. So my hips are still sinking back, and I'm going to allow my torso to melt down towards the floor or my props. And play with this. You'll see how much support you need. And some of you will look like a frog that is jumping out of a pond. Some of you will look like a lazy frog that's floating. Don't worry so much about how you look. Just start to explore the sensations. You could stay upright on your forearms for the first few moments. And the thing to be most aware of here is sensation in the knees. So if you start to feel pain in your knees, you want to add a little more support, an extra blanket. And go ahead and take a deep breath in through your nose. Open your mouth, exhale, let everything go. And there's an intensity, there's a fierceness that starts to emerge in this shape. I always tell my students this is my absolutely least favorite yin yoga pose. And when we come into shapes that are our absolutely least favorite, those are the ones we should simmer in for a little bit. So we'll spend a minute here just marinating. Noticing how deep your body can go without pushing yourself into a state of pain, just playing with your edges, flirting with your edges here. Good work. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale, use your hands to push you up and slowly sink right back into child's pose. So your big toes are touching, your knees are wide, they can stay on your props. And then outstretch your arms overhead. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, let your torso rest, keeping your arms straight or bending them. And noticing how child's pose feels now. Good. Inhale, lift yourself up off the earth. Use your hands to support you. Draw your legs together. And slowly come forward to sit just on the edge of your bolster. So that was our warm-up. That was our warm-up for some nice deep poses where we're going to get right into our hips. So exploring the range of motion in our legs and our hips. Lengthening our leg muscles. For our next pose, we're coming into shoelace pose. So go ahead and take your right knee, bend your right knee. And then take your left leg and stack it right over your right knee. So a lot of our bodies simply won't come into this shape. If your body can comfortably come into this shape, with your left knee stacked on top of your right knee, both of your hips imprinted down into the floor, come here and breathe. Otherwise, the alternative shape is to come into square pose. Taking your left ankle over your right thigh, if there's a gap between your knee and your right foot, you could take a prop beneath that space. This is called square pose. And if this still causes some tension in your right knee, you could extend your right leg out. So go ahead and find a variation that suits your body, something that works for you. And let your hands relax softly alongside your body. Close your eyes and take a deep breath in through your nose. As you exhale, feel the weight of both of your sit bones imprinting into the floor. Start to notice the sensations that are surfacing in your body. And take your breath, and can you begin to send every single inhalation down into the places that feel a little bit uneasy here, a little bit uncomfortable. Our breath becomes a sort of ointment. And we get to send it down and dab it on those places that need a little bit extra nourishment, a little bit more love. Those are our inhalations. Every single exhalation is a departure of the stories and the meanings and the chatter and the chaos and all the stuff we attach to these subtle sensations. So inhaling a bit of softness, a bit of peacefulness, calming energy into your hips. And then exhaling out all of the drama. point in this sequence today you feel pain, you feel sharpness, your feet or your legs fall into sleep mode, pins and needles, or you feel particular tension on the knees, that's your cue to come out of the pose and rest either in child's pose or in Shavasana. Otherwise, can we let today's practice be an exploration of discomfort? So when uncomfortable feelings, both physical and emotional, start to come to the surface, don't turn away. Sit with them. Get to know them, get really familiar with them, like the person you don't like at the party but you talk to anyway. That's what we're going to do. And what you'll start to uncover is that there's something beautiful in that person or in that sensation. Once you get past all of the stuff on the surface. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Open your mouth wide, exhale out all your air. Good, and then lean back onto your hands. Start to lift your legs up, send your legs out, and give them a little shake. Or a big shake. Even rock them from side to side. And still working on the right side, we're going to move into Pigeon pose. So this pose is accessible from all fours, and there is a modification that I'll show you. From all fours, take your right leg and bring your right knee behind your right wrist, and then send your left leg back in space. So find length through the entire left leg from your hip to your knee to your ankle. There's one straight line. And then lift your chest, lift your spine. And if you notice you're falling over to one side or the next, this is why we have props today. You could set a prop right under your right hip or maybe under your left thigh. Take a deep breath in, lift your chest, open your heart, lengthen your spine. And then as you exhale, start to sink down either towards the floor, to your fists, or to your prop. You can rest either cheek, you could rest the forehead. Allow the weight of your upper body to become heavy. Starting to undo any muscular force, any effort, letting yourself sink. Go ahead and take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, feel the whole body surrendering. And this is where the magic happens. This is where the intensity begins to build up. If you feel safe and comfortable here, please remain here. Otherwise, our modification is to come down into eye of the needle. In the modification, we'll lie down on our back and take our right ankle over our left thigh, either staying here or interlacing our hands behind our left leg. If you're in the modification, keep your right foot flexed to protect your knee. And tuck your chin slightly, lifting and lengthening out through the crown of your head. This is an amazing time, despite which variation you're in, to set your intention for today's practice. An intention of letting go. Is there anything in your life, maybe just in your day-to-day, a thought, a feeling, a project, a person, maybe a memory, that you can commit to beginning the process of letting go of here? Our mantra is, as I breathe in peace. And as I breathe out, I let go. As I breathe in peace. And as I breathe out, I let go. One more minute here. inhale, take a deep breath in. Open your mouth wide, exhale whatever's come up. Press the sole of your left foot down on the floor if you're in the modification. Release your right foot and flop your knees from left to right. If you are down on the floor in pigeon pose, press your hands into the floor. Lift your chest away from the earth. And slowly push yourself up and away, rolling over your back toes, either coming all the way up into downward facing dog, where you can make whatever movements you need, or sinking right down into child's pose. So find a shape that suits you. Take 3 deep breaths in that shape, wiggling and shifting and moving as much as you need to. And when you've finished those breaths, when you feel ready, please slowly and mindfully find your way back up to seated. Because we have to do the whole thing on the other side. Sitting up again on the edge of your pillow or your prop. This time our left leg is down, pressed against the earth with our knee bent. We're coming into whichever variation suits our body. So square pose or shoelace pose. In shoelace, our right knee is stacked above our left knee. Right? In square pose, our right ankle is stacked above our left ankle. And then again, we could take a prop between our knee and our foot. And if that causes any tension in your left leg, go ahead and extend your left knee. Find your variation. Relax your arms, relax your shoulders. Think of your intention. What can you let go of? These physical shapes create an access point for us to purge emotions that are stuck inside. We're going to go deep into that access point as we take a deep breath in, breathing in peace. And as we exhale to let go, melting here for the next minute. Beautiful. Take a deep breath in. Big exhale through your mouth. Let everything go. And then inhale, lean back on your hands. Start to draw your knees in. Slowly unwrap your legs. Notice all the strange sensations. It's like we just aged 10 years as we start to come out of these poses. Move around, flop around, do whatever feels good here. And then go ahead and find your way back onto all fours. Or find your way onto your back. So again, to come into pigeon pose, which we call swan in yin yoga, take your left knee behind your left wrist. Stretch your right leg back. If this is causing tension in your knee, it's okay if that left foot sinks in a little bit closer towards your pelvis. You could take your bolster under your left hip to help stabilize, maybe out in front of your chest. And gaze behind you to see that the hip, the knee, and the ankle are in one straight line. And then when you're ready, breathe your way down to the floor. Again, if this doesn't feel safe or comfortable for you, come down onto your back. Press the soles of your feet down on the floor. Take your left ankle over your right thigh. And then maybe interlace your hands behind your right thigh. Finding your shape wherever you are. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, let it all go. Can you move past thinking, past your edge as you inhale? Exhale, sink a little deeper. Stay with your breath. Ever so slowly begin to lift yourself away from the floor, peeling your torso off the earth. And if you're here in swan or pigeon pose, roll over your right foot, send your left foot back and up, taking downward facing dog. If you're lying on your back, unwrap your legs, squeeze your knees into your chest. This is a time to just move, to listen to your body, do whatever needs to be done. And then slowly come down onto your mat. And take a moment just to stretch out both of your legs, give them a little shake. For our next pose, it's going to be helpful to use some support behind your spine. So pillows stacked on top of one another, you might need a few. It's also nice to take a blanket or some sort of cushioning under your knees here. So go ahead and open your blanket out on the floor. We're moving into saddle pose. This is a yin variation of hero pose. And today we're going to practice with our heels outside of our hips. Now, if your hips don't come down to the floor, you could prop another block or blanket underneath your bum. If there's tension in your ankles, you can roll up the blanket and add a little extra padding on your ankles. At the same time, knowing that this pose is designed to stretch our ankle joints, our knee joints, our hip joints, even our spinal joints. So option one is to stay here, to remain here seated upright if this feels safe. Option two is to begin your journey slowly and mindfully down onto your back or onto your cushions. And straight away you'll start to feel some intensity in the lower back. Invite your breath into your lower back and imagine your spine like an accordion. As you inhale, you can lengthen, and as you exhale, you can let everything soften. Either relaxing your arms on your belly alongside your body or up overhead to tack into that heart and lung meridian line. If this causes too much pressure on your knees, feel free to sit back up, extend your legs out in front, and just lie down against the bolsters, giving yourself a little heart opening for a few minutes. And so we land here, take a deep breath in through your nose, breathing into all the sensations, all the feelings. Open your mouth wide, exhale, let everything go, and with your awareness set on your heart center, can you melt into this shape for the next 2 minutes? Halfway there, take a deep breath in, clear the mind of all the thinking. Exhale, sink into your next edge. And together we'll take 3 deep breaths. Inhale through your nose. Exhale out your mouth. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now take your time here, press your hands into the floor. Move so carefully, tuck your chin into your chest, lift yourself up. Good, and then come on to all fours, maybe kick your legs back, giving them a little bit of extension. Again, if feeling like going back into downward dog is what you need, go ahead and move back into downward dog. Lots of tension through our feet and our ankles, just notice everything. And then come right back down onto all fours. So your knees are supported by your blanket for the next shape. And it'll be useful to have at least one of your cushions up towards the front of your mat, okay? The next few poses is a collection of poses called the Dragon Series. And this is the deepest stretch we're going to get to relieve the tension in our hips. So we're stressing our quads. The emotional benefits of this pose are phenomenal. We'll get deep into our hip flexors, come onto all fours, and as you inhale, step your right foot forward. Setting the foot right between your palms, your knee is stacked above your right ankle, and then stretch your left leg back. Good. Start to energetically send your right hip back and your left hip forward. Lift your chest, open your heart, sink your pelvis down nice and low. If there's no sensation, press your left leg back further. If there's a lot of sensation, particularly on the knee, you can amp up your padding. And then go ahead and take both hands onto your right thigh. Take a deep breath in. Your heart is open, your pelvis is sinking. Exhale. Inhale again, feeling the expansion up and out. As you exhale, sink down. Now keeping your lower limbs as they are, bring both palms back down to either side of your front foot. You might have to be up on the balls of your fingers here. Close your eyes and go ahead and take 5 deep breaths in and out through your nose. Beautiful. Lift your chest up only so far as to walk your right hand to the inside of your right foot, and then heel toe your right foot out towards the edge of your mat, but not all the way. I'd like the whole right foot to be imprinted on the floor. Now, if your palms can't reach the floor here, you could use your bolster or your pillow and place your palms on your pillow. Take a deep breath in, lift your chest, find length through your spine, and as you exhale, sink in, sink in. 5 breaths. From here, we'll move even deeper if it's available to you. Go ahead and come down onto your forearms, again on the earth or supported by your prop. Breathing. Now heel toe your right foot out to the edge of your mat and roll right onto the outside edge of your right foot. Feel the sensation piercing through your body. Breathe into it. And all the junk that comes up in your head, exhale, let it go. 5 breaths. Mindfully begin to straighten your arms, press your palms into the floor, lift your chest, bending back. Sink your hips towards your heels, walk your hands onto the floor, take your right leg back in space. Again, your transition is your choice. Sometimes downward dog feels really good. Sometimes kicking and wiggling your feet and your ankles feels good. Wherever you go, take a deep breath in. Exhale, let it go. Come back onto all fours. So this is a more active, a more yang sequence. Step your left foot forward, supporting your right knee with your blanket, even your pillow. Your left knee is stacked above your left ankle. Your foot is imprinted into the earth. Even push the top of your right foot into the floor. Feel your chest shine through. Your heart is open here. And then walk your hands onto your left thigh. Inhale, lift. Exhale, surrender. Whew. Inhale, lift. Exhale, surrender. One more deep breath in, feeling the opening through the front line of your body, and then your exhalation brings your palms down to frame your left foot. 5 breaths. Go ahead, gently walk your hands to the inside of your left foot. Heel toe your left foot just out ever so slightly. Palms on the floor or on your prop. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, melt. So mindful little movements are okay here to help sink you into a safe resting place. But then try to spend these few breaths in stillness, noticing how the mind reacts to the physicality, to the intensity, to the chaos in the physical body. Good. You can stay right here, or you could take your pillow, maybe just coming down onto your elbows, either on your pillow or on the earth. Inhale, lift your chest, lengthen. Exhale, sink in. 5 breaths. And then slowly start to send your left foot out towards the edge of your mat. Roll onto the outside edge of your left foot, winged dragon. Sink a little deeper. Maybe at this time you've opened up some space and you could come all the way down to the floor, breathing here for 5 breaths. And then go ahead and take a really long, full, deep breath in. Exhale everything out. Walk your hands back up. With straight arms, roll back over your right foot. Send your left leg back from either all fours or again, up in downward dog. You do whatever you need to do here to unwind. And then come back down onto your mat. And take your time here to clear away your props and lie down on your back. Right away, bend your knees. Open your arms wide. Send your hips out towards the left and drop your knees down to the right. If you have any issues in your spine, hug your knees a little bit closer. If your left elbow absolutely refuses to come down onto the floor, feel free to take your extra pillow or bolster and rest it right along the lateral line of your back, just opening your left arm out. And your gaze can head over your left fingertips, or your gaze can stay upright. Find your breath here. Beautiful. Inhale your knees back to center. Exhale your hips out to the right. Drop your knees down to the left. Your arms are open wide, with or without props, you decide. And again, hug the knees in a little closer to your chest if that helps your spine. Find a comfortable resting place for your arms. Gaze over your right shoulder, only if that feels okay for your neck. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, let your whole body melt into the floor. Good. Inhale everything back to center. Take a moment, make any fiddles, any movements, any wiggles, and then extend out both of your legs. Either rest your hands here on your belly or open your arms out alongside your body, palms facing the sky. Allowing every exhalation here in final Shavasana to be a letting go, even if you don't know what you're letting go of. Take rest. Feel free to stay here in Shavasana for as long as you'd like. Otherwise, begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Inhale the length of your body up overhead. Exhale, let everything go. Softly bend your knees. Roll the weight of your body onto the left side, landing in fetal pose. Mindfully healing yourself up from the floor. Coming back up to seated. Collecting your hands at heart center. Recommitting to your intention. Giving yourself gratitude for making it onto your mat. Namaste.